when we establish the initial construction plane for the S910 laser, we're creating it at its eye level. So right around here in the room, parallel to the floor, it creates a construction plane. Now it doesn't know where to look. So what we do is we set the x-axis, and that makes the x-axis become the top of our screen when we're drawing. Now because we're going to do a 3D room, we're going to drop the plane, the construction plane from here, we're going to drop it to the floor. That way as we do the perimeter, we're doing the perimeter at the floor level, then we can extrude it up to the ceiling height. So let's do that. So you can see it back in that shadow of that column. We're going to go into our x-axis tool. And I'm going to use this icon to shoot my points. I could also be using the space bar, and I could also be using the remote. I'm going to use this just so that you can see me doing it. We're going to shoot the first point of our x-axis. And each point takes about 3 seconds with this system. And you'll see it's got a 1 on the shot counter. We're going to shoot a second one. And you'll note it says that the x-axis was completed successfully. And our counter is at 2. We want to right-click here, go to our parallel. And we're going to move our plane, our working plane, parallel to where it currently is at a point that we indicate, and that point is going to be on the floor. So you can see my laser beam here on the floor. I'm going to shoot that point. And it says the plane was created. What we just did is we moved the plane from up here at its eye level down to the floor level. And we're going to create a perimeter for this room. We do 1 point there. And 1 point over here. And you'll be able to see the line. It's parallel to the top of the screen. Now I'm coming along this wall, so that it'll be on the right side of my drawing. And it'll be moving away from the top. There we go. And now we're coming along this section, continuing to build the perimeter of the walls. So here's what we have so far. We need to trim these together. There's a pretty handy little trimming tool. These two X's are our trimming tools. One is for trimming and the other is for cutting or breaking. We're going to go to this trimming tool. The second one in the second column is a smart trimming tool. And it tries to anticipate what it is you're trying to do and selects it for you. Makes it pretty easy and simple to run with it. And on something like this, a perimeter where there's no real complications, there's no extra lots of lines in the area that it might mistake for what you're trying to do, it's a very good tool to use. Okay, so we've got our perimeter. And we've got it trimmed up and it's at the floor level. Now before we extrude it, just so that we're able to see it, I'm going to tilt it into an isometric view. And then to know how far to extrude it, I'm going to use this tool here, the Z depth. And it's going to measure my height of the room, which is going to be at the ceiling. It's going to point it up on the ceiling, shoot that point. That gives me the height of the room. And now I'm going to use my extrusion tool. I'm going to select all displayed, all, and you'll see all the lines turn orange as being selected. I'm going to accept those. It asks me how many copies I want. I'm going to hit the enter key. I just want 1 copy of this. I want no changes in the X or Y direction. But in the Z direction, I do want to extrude it up. I'm going to right click here and paste the Z depth height that we took a measure of. And I'm going to hit the enter key or the accept, either way. And you'll see it extrudes up the room. I'll bring everything into focus. Get out of this tool. And you'll see if I touch this line, it's 106 inches high. So that is our extruded room. And you'll note that the construction plane is still on the floor where we last left it before we created the perimeter and extruded it. So now we're going to go on to the working on the wall sections to add the windows in. I'm going to begin on these walls. So in order to select that wall, I'm going to go to my plane selection tool. I'm going to select two adjoining angles. And that would become my working wall, although I wanted to make this my working plane. So I'm going to select that again. I'm going to select this and this. It becomes my working plane. And now to put in the windows, I'm going to use a rectangle tool. And with the rectangle tool, I enter 2 points on opposite corners. So let me bring the camera back in view. So to create this window here, we're going to put a point on that corner. And we'll shoot that corner. And you'll see that that point is on this wall. Then I'm going to come down and shoot the opposite side, opposite corner. A little hard to see that beam, but I'm sitting right there on that corner. And you'll see that it's created that window. I'm going to come up to the next window. And on this window, I have a soffit that's in the way. And I'm pretending to do the room as though the soffit weren't there, which would be a lot simpler. I'd simply point it at that corner just like I did the other one. But in this case, because that back wall is my working plane, if I set this beam on the ceiling, and I'm moving myself to position myself so that there's no parallax, I set that beam on the ceiling directly where that corner is, it's going to fall to this corner. So we'll go ahead and shoot that. So I shot that point on the wall. As you can see on the camera, I shot it on the wall here. But since this is my construction plane, it falls over to that. So now we're going to come down and do the other corner. So I'm going to select my construction plane tool. I'm going to select two adjoining sections of that wall, and it moves the working plane to this side, far side corner. So let's move the construction plane to this wall. Let's go back to our view so you can see where the camera's at. I'm going to set this on one corner. So I'm going to shoot the bottom left corner of that light switch, and then the top right corner of it. And we'll get the top right corner of it. There's our light switch.